into it, everyone. Where did we leave off last time?
Our hearts broken?
Yep, basically dying from
In a
setup.
cave. Their dead friend.
Are we still in battle? No, we're not out of.
I feel
Are
fucking
we out of
bad
combat?
now.
You guys say we hearts broken, but I see it as we saved Kina. So just
You don't get to talk. You're dead. I'm kidding. Some say we are still in battle. Others, we don't know. It's an inner battle.
Oh, wow,
Turmoil.
that's deep.
That's the.
Oh dear.
You guys traversed the challenges of the Mockden cavern system, getting across the little underground lake that you managed to find with the little blue squishies.
Cam like the squishies. He loved them.
They set off an in-cave rock slide by shouting.
Cam loved shouting.
And then you finally made it to where you were able to see Kina Brightspark, the missing Quillam researcher, stuck to the wall with blue sticky slime, and you were attacked by a slime you had never seen before, the shifting one, that seemed to change its abilities after being hit by certain types of magical damage. And a few of the caustic slimes that proved a little too much for a few members of the party, and slaying Camembert in the middle of this cavern.
Camembert loved Camembert.
One positive is I didn't have to go out and buy cheese or apples this week.
And
It's so sad.
Is that a positive though?
So much for that yearly subscription.
Only made it a couple months. But we pick up right after the battle is finished. I think Dace and Sir Basil hanging by a thread, Mrs. Q holding on to Cam's hand as she felt him stop breathing. Kina kind of between conscious and unconscious, stuck to the wall as Apoc fired his last arrow. Sir Basil fired his and took down the last caustic slime that was threatening the party. And that's where we'll pick up for tonight, right as the slime turns to a puddle in front of Basil. I didn't say anything. There's just a silence in the cavern as the last arrow falls.
After maybe a minute or so of just not doing anything except sitting next to Cam holding his hand, Mrs. Q just sort of shakes herself, puts his hand on his chest, and gets up and says, "All right, let's get you down," as she goes over to Kina, just trying to pull back the tears and power through and get this gal off the wall.
What are you doing?
We had a mission, and Cam would want us to see it through.
You're just leaving him?
No,
What?
we've got to get this gal down.
Get him back up.
Huh?
Get Cam back up.
I'm sorry, dear, I can't do that.
What do you mean?
He's gone.
No, can't be.
I go over to Apoc and give him a hug and give him a cookie. And
He just spits out the cookie.
I didn't put it in your mouth.
Food isn't gonna solve this.
Well, I don't respond to his upsetness because I'm also upset, but I also need to make sure that Kina gets off the wall.
as Miss Quillam heads to Kina, Sir Basil walks up and kind of rests his little hand on Apoc. I guess on Apoc's, I don't know, wherever he can reach. And kind of says, what did she say? He says, our friend fought bravely. I'm afraid this is where his adventure ends. And you can see that like he's like trying to like hold it all in and kind of just like tries to explain but console Apoc like he's dead.
We're not leaving him here though. We can't.
I agree.
Dace goes to Cam and just looks at him, just pure silence, and just picks him up and carries him in front.
Thanks,
We'll
Dave.
we'll give him the proper soldier goodbye.
I imagine maybe when he picks him up, his hat falls down and Pastor Basil runs up, picks up the hat, just like holds it in his hand.
Stop.
And is just walking behind
I'm
Dace.
so sad right now.
Apples just fall to the ground.
All the pockets.
Oh, no.
These are where the apples went.
Apoc just picks up all the apples, all of the cheese that he was carrying. I don't know if he had cheese, but maybe he did.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So as you all are preparing to exit the cave and Mrs. Q, it will take some time to kind of get Kina down. She's not doing so hot, not very helpful at the moment. Just sort of waking enough to kind of mutter a word to you every now and then. And as you work on the slime and try and clear her off and remove her from the wall, it will take you a few minutes at least. And in that time, the noise from the battle, at first you didn't think it was real, but the more you listened, the more you realized that there were people shouting. And there were people here this far deep in the caverns. And Cyrus, you, for the very first time, you hear other humans or other creatures, other voices. It doesn't sound too far. You know the caves echo, but from where you are down here, it sounds like they're maybe right around the corner, right up above.
So as I hear voices and Madeline, I'll creep over to take a look and kind of watch from afar as the battle's going on, if I can.
Yeah, and you sort of creep around enough that one passage that was kind of around the corner that the party never actually saw, and you're able to kind of see the slimes and the battle raging. And as you watch, you notice
I'll wait till the fight is over.
Mhm.
And kind of as they're tearing down Kina, I'll cry out to the group. Good day.
I pull up my bow immediately, draw an arrow.
I saw him swinging.
Do you fire it?
How immediate is this?
Like as you're pulling down Kina, you'll hear, "Good day. What brings you to my cave?"
Your cave?
Yeah.
Are
My
these your
cave?
slimes?
No, they're what I call trespassers, much like you.
To a good start.
And I'll reveal myself as I step around the corner. What you guys see is a brown cloaked individual, and their face is covered in darkness. As you see what looks like a duckbill peeking out of the shadow that's covering his face. Think of it like a tall Jawa. You can kind of see just like the duckbill. JAWA for those playing the home game, as it's the nose sticking out from the robe, and he kind of presents himself and waddles over a little bit as he walks up to the group. Who might you be? You're not like those slime intruders. You seem a little bit more pleasant. Where you guys hail from?
Apoc.
How do you respond?
My name is Apoc.
Pleasure to meet you, Apoc. The name's Cyrus. How about your friends there?
your bow drawn and your sword
Yeah,
out?
my sword's pointed at him.
Okay.
Being super suspicious of this individual, Sir Basil just says, after they exchange their names, and I am Sir Basil. Who are you? How to say? And who are you dwelling within these caverns?
It's my
Show your
home.
face.
It's my home, it is.
Who would live down here?
Well, someone that's been ostracized by blokes such as yourselves. What brings you down here?
You steal food.
No, I can make my own food if needed. Unless you're offering.
I'm sorry. It's the first thing I thought of.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Hearing what Apoc says and trying to like encourage him, I look at the Jawa and I ask, and do you like cookies?
I've never said no to a cookie before. Mighty kind if you have got any. It's been quite a few years since I've had a cookie down here.
So I waddle up and I just like ignore the fact that everyone's got their weapons out because I'm just not about that.
Hey,
Too old. And I take a cookie out of my apron and I give the cookie to the stranger. I say, "Oh, I think you'll do just nice."
Realizing what's happening, Sir Basil just kind of drops his sword and kind of like looks like this one confused, and then looks at the Jawa and like,
as you do, he doesn't hold out a hand. When you hand the cookie, you can feel a force of energy pull the cookie out of your hand, and it floats over to him. And then he just kind of in the air.
And I just as I sort of step back, I say, "What unusual table manners."
And oh, sorry, this is a little disconcerting. And he pulls his hood down as you see a golden furred, duck-billed humble folk before you.
Was that magic?
Pardon?
Was that magic?
I don't know what magic is, to be honest. Just don't like to get my hands dirty, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
Germaphobe. That's the place for you down here. What kind of beak did you say it was?
Pardon?
You
a duck beak.
duck beak?
And I will send you guys a picture
Mhm.
of that, of what you guys see.
And have you revealed your name at this point?
Wow.
I assume no,
Oh my
right?
god,
Cyrus.
Yeah.
Cyrus?
Yeah.
cute! Oh,
Oh, platypus.
Yeah. Realizing that Miss Quillam has kind of extended an olive branch to Cyrus, Sir Basil kind of like embarrassingly kind of just tucks away his sword and kind of like bashfully is just like, so how long you been down here?
Couldn't tell you as much. Don't keep track of time myself. It's feels like it's been quite a few seasons. A lot of cold. Oh, 3 or 4 cold. Maybe more than that. 5 or 6 cold years. My best bet. Where you blokes hail from?
What's the answer to that question?
I'm just going to ignore his question and just ask where he was during our battle.
Well, no reason for me to get into a fight with people I don't know. It's kind of watching, seeing what you're doing down here. But since you took care of those slimes, it's awfully kind of you. Kind of make it a little easier for me to move around this cave. What happened to your friend there? You
Not
fall
a
as-
fighter. What use do we have?
fall asleep?
You'll fall asleep?
Your friend there, he's your friend there. He looks like he's fallen asleep down there.
Our friend died because you didn't help. If you helped us, this would have been a completely different fight.
Sensing the tension, Sir Basil kind of steps in between Apoc and Cyrus and says, our friend fought bravely, but unfortunately we were
Outnumbered?
outmatched, and we have lost a dear companion.
Well, if he's dead like you say, I know a person or two that's been known to help out with these sorts of things. I've lost the voice.
Is that so?
You got this. I believe in you.
Who was that?
Oi,
I got my Australian.
Oi, I'd say that somewhere in town, just outside of the cave, there's a folk or two that communes with those that brings people back if they passed on prematurely.
Excited by this, like Sir Basil's ears kind of perk up a little bit, and he leans in and says, "Is this true? Would you be able to lead us to these people?"
It's been quite a long time since I've left this cave, and I don't dare leave it unprotected myself. Kind of safe in here. I need some fine folks, strong folks, such as, well, I guess yourselves killing those slimes. Maybe I could do that if you protect me.
If you were to do us this favor, we would most certainly protect you.
Do we get the impression that we are being lied to? Or does this,
He wants to enter the party. Huh?
I'm just-
Yeah.
yeah, he could be,
Okay.
I would want to know. I would, sure, it's Eric in real life, but in game, I wouldn't know.
Make an insight check.
All good questions.
Nat 20.
Whoa. You get the sense that he's being completely honest.
Would.
I just don't trust him because he says that he's in the cave wanting to protect it, yet he didn't do anything about the slimes. We had to do it.
He's a chicken.
Well, more of a humble folk myself. Don't I don't take to those blimey bird folk.
Yeah.
Am I a bird folk?
Yes.
Okay.
Us humble folk have a phrase for those that stay away during fights. We call them chickens.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm very familiar with the humble folk slurs.
I don't trust this dude.
Yeah.
So would you be willing to accompany us to this place that you are speaking of and these people who you think can help our friend?
I think that could be arranged. It's time for me to stretch my feet.
Do you have web feet?
Yes.
Can you swim?
That's a good question.
Yes.
Do you have webbed feet?
As you see him waddle up a little bit more, you can see his webbed feet.
Important detail. Everybody write that down.
Webbed feet.
I'm just kidding.
What made you come down to this cave first of all?
Well, unfortunately, it was folks like such as yourselves and humble folks such as yourselves, as he looks to all of you. They didn't want me in their village. A bit too much of a bird for the humble folk, and too much of a humble folk for the birds.
You must have stole food.
Why don't you put down that arrow and you see your arrow get pulled off of its bow?
Huh. Apoc catches it when it falls.
I don't know.
You're lucky it's not duck season.
I'm lucky I'm not a duck.
Very cautiously, Sir Bash kind of like walks around Cyrus, so he's kind of like behind Cyrus now, but like technically, like maybe the people who are in front might notice that he's still like holding on to his sword's handle. And then he says, maybe it's best that all of us get out of here. And he says, Cyrus, Kina, and then looks at Dace holding Cam, and then he'll say, I think we've overstayed our welcome in these caves.
Cyrus, are you aware of a way to get out of these caves that doesn't require having to swim through a bunch of water and caustic slime?
I don't know. Do I?
First and foremost, like the water was not, the only person who had to swim in the water was Basil.
Yeah.
It was above his head. But the rest of you would be fine to just wade through. So if that's what you're worried about, you waded there, you can wade back around. Cyrus, would you have explored the caves or would you have stayed in one spot?
I'd have probably explored the caves. I
Okay,
could see
yeah.
it being like curious and interested, but like cautiously. So
Yeah.
if there's any like dangerous spots, he probably wouldn't have ventured too far into, and it would have just taken the easy route if he could.
Yeah, so in that case, you know that the, and for the rest of the group's sake, that third tunnel that you didn't go down when you were faced with the 3 tunnels, one was a dead end, one led, the one in the middle led down. Cyrus, you would know this, the one on the far right was a safer path that looped all the way back up to the surface.
Well, if you want, you can follow me, and I'll bring you right to the surface.
No more ghosts down here.
Haven't seen any ghosts myself.
Who sees ghosts?
Well, you've asked if I've seen them. Can't say that I have.
I asked if there are any more.
Seeing the tension grow, Mrs. Q goes up to Apoc and grabs him by the hand and gives his hand a tap and says, why don't you take some of Cam's bags and stuff and carry that so that Dace doesn't have to, and we'll get going. And I sort of push him towards Dace.
In addition to, like, Sir Basil comes up behind Cyrus and kind of leans in and whispers, like, you'll have to forgive our friend. The two of them, and he kind of like, with his face kind of gestures at Cam. We're very close, and I'm afraid it's hit him quite hard.
Fair enough. Not for me to get in your way. Just looking for some strong folks to help me out and maybe see what's up top. Be a little different from the normal cave life.
Shall we then? And kind of like leads him on.
As I walk next to Cyrus, can I gauge how tall he is? Is he taller than me?
Yeah, is he taller?
Is he small?
I would say he's taller than Mrs. Quillam.
Really?
Okay.
I was the tallest.
No, you're not. Remember, you're quite hunched, Mrs. Q. So maybe in your younger years you could have matched up, but not right now.
I think he's like 5 foot. I'm not sure exactly how tall you are, but I think he's like 5 foot, and he's a little portly.
In
Portly.
that case, when Sir Basil was trying to whisper to him, he had to go up and like tug his sweater. But he had to bend down just so he could like whisper.
Adorable.
Is Kina on her feet, or are we carrying her?
Kina needs a little bit of support, whether you give her like some sort of walking stick or kind of like help her along. She's conscious, since you guys have been talking for 5-10 minutes here, but she's very weak. She's been stuck down here for a few days on her own, unable to move, pinned by the slimes, without any food or water. So she's a little worse for wear.
Should we technically find somewhere safe to set up camp and like do a short rest or?
It depends how long it'll take us to get out of here.
Our first priority's got to be getting Cam back to these people.
Yeah, I don't know if we can necessarily wait.
Okay, because I'm still very injured from the battle.
Well, if we lose you, we'll get them to bring you back too.
You guys aren't feeling too well? Who's hurt here?
Sir Basil kind of like not wanting to admit that he's hurt, kind of like just like coughs.
And go, yeah.
No, nothing. I know you can see me hurt, but I don't say anything. I'm just keeping a strong front on because I still don't trust you.
Well, if
I think he probably like laughs at the fact that Sir Basil had to like make a noise. He's like weakling.
well, if you guys are gonna protect me, might as well offer you what I got. And opens out his robes a little bit, and you see him pull out again, not with his hands. Like he uses his hands for his robe, and then you can just see a couple bottles float up, little red potions. He's like, if you need any healing, feel free to take a couple of these. And he pushes forward 2 potions of healing for those that are injured.
Sir Basil jumps up and like catches it in the air and says, "Thank you, kind sir."
Dead silence.
Do you take it, Dace?
Well, I can't because I'm carrying Cam,
Okay.
but I guess no. I'll still walk, and I just see like the potion still trailing behind me. I don't know if Sir Basil wants to grab both.
Yeah, sure. Realizing what's happening, he goes up and grabs both, and then kind of like holds it up, like, "Hey."
Can I figure out what's causing these potions to levitate? If, from what we know, Cyrus has said he doesn't know what magic is.
Yeah, go ahead and make an Arcana check.
Which I didn't want to roll today.
Well, I'm making you roll, so I am God. Do what I say.
What about in the game?
Pardon? I missed
I
what.
said, but what about the game?
Oh.
It's a 10.
It's 10. You know, Apoc, you know that, being with Mrs. Q, seeing strange things in your life. This is absolutely magic. What kind? Not quite sure. Whether Cyrus knows he's using magic or not, kind of a question mark, but you know this is magic.
Pull another arrow and I just draw it as we walk down the hallway,
Right.
back up to the surface.
So as you go ahead and start making the trek, someone, I'm assuming, supporting Kina along the way, Dace,
Oh,
you're the one carrying Cam, right?
Yeah.
One thing you notice as you're carrying Cam, first of all, he's a bit of a light creature for you. You're a pretty strong boy. A couple episodes ago, you spent 24 hours doing curls, so you're pretty ripped. But one thing you do notice as Cam is kind of like huddled to your chest, Cam's back, where your arms are supporting him, is ice cold. Like it's radiating cold through his armor that you can feel on your forearms. But as your hands are like wrapped around his front, kind of holding him to you, the front of Cam is hot, like blistering hot, like radiating hot onto your skin, again, through his armor.
So my face area is like hot, but my forearms are ice cold.
So it's just your arms. It's very condensed to Cam's body, but you can feel it only because you're in such close contact with him, and only because you're literally making contact with his back and your hands wrapped around like his arm. You can feel kind of almost a line where cold turns to hot. The back of him is cold, the front of him is warm. But it's not on your face. It's not, uncomfortable to you or making you sweat or anything like that. It's very contained. It's just odd.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But you are able to, with Cyrus's guidance, take that third tunnel that slopes gently up to the waddling along. I think there's 2 of you that waddle now. Waddling along, Kina in tow, up to the mouth of the caverns.
Quick note before we like have left the cave. Is it possible that we could gather some of the rare slime?
Yeah, absolutely. The shifting one that changed color.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. If you have any type of container or flask or anything like that, it won't require a roll. You can just put it in a flask of something.
All
Well,
I have
you
is
just downed 2 healing potions, so
No.
you could use those bottles.
Sure. Can I fill the one healing potion I took with some of the slime?
Absolutely, yeah. You now have a bottle full of shifting slime. Did anyone else want to do anything before you leave the caves? All right. So you know that on your way down through the caves, getting into a couple scuffles, taking a rest here and there, it took you just over half a day to make your way all the way down. Going back up to the surface, even though it's a steady climb, it's a climb. And it's a long climb. You're walking for like 2, 3, 3.5 hours, and it feels like it'll never end. Base, you're strong, but even that long, carrying some extra weight is tough. Apoc with Cam's bags, it's getting tougher and tougher. You feel the burn in your thighs. But you are able to make your way out and exit the caves just as the sun is beginning to set over the town Grip Coast. It is getting dark, and you realize where you popped out. It kind of looks like the entrance that you noticed your very first night sleeping out in the swamp, that bit of light that wasn't moving on the horizon. Seems like you kind of did a little bit of a loop from where you first made camp. But the sun is setting here.
Cyrus, how far till the town?
It's been years. I'm just getting my bearings. A few days. I'm not 100% sure.
Days?
Knowing how long it took us to get there, would we know that it was like it's like a 1 or 2 day travel, or like a full day travel or anything like that?
Cyrus, just to confirm, you're talking about what we talked about, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So where is Susan? I can't remember where Susan was.
As you rack your mind, the voice of God. No, Cyrus, you would know. You might not have the best memory. It might have been a long time since you've been surface side. But you would know that the person you're trying to find, Susan, is about a day's walk through the swamp south of here. So not back northwest the way you came, or the way the party came from a Knowing Reach. It would be in the opposite direction.
So I'm pretty sure it was south of here, and I start walking north.
Realizing what's happened, Sir Basil kind of like tugs on his I guess you have a robe.
Yeah.
Tugs on the hem of your robe and says, "I believe south is that way."
All right. Turns around and starts following your direction.
He looks at the rest of the group and goes, falls after him.
All right. So you're attempting to push on a little bit before it gets too dark.
I guess so.
So you're able to push on a couple hours. When the sun sets here, it's closer to like 7 o'clock. If you want to try and push it for another 5 hours, you can make up like almost a half day's travel into the swamp. But it is there. There are no roads where you're going. You're walking on bits of like mossy, gross, squished beneath your boots and webbed feet kind of terrain. Every so often you have kind of this rocky patch that you're able to at least be dry before it immediately gives way to another kind of grove of saplings and swamp trees that have those weird roots that make it look super creepy and are submerged in water. But you're able to push on for another few hours until midnight hits. Did you want to try and keep going through the night, or are you going to stop and rest?
Do we have a sense of how much further we would need to go? Like, is it like another couple hours, or is it like we're so close?
So without the sun in the sky, it's a little bit difficult to tell. It's a little difficult to tell like the time that passes, especially here in the swamp where these like tall like mangrove trees kind of blot out the sky every so often. From what Cyrus has said, it's about a day and a bit, depending on how quickly you can travel. So you know, like if anything, you're able to shave off, keep traveling a little bit, you're able to shave off maybe a half day, but unless you want to pull an all-nighter.
How close are we getting to Marshview? This is my question.
You're traveling in the
Yeah.
same direction. These aren't necessarily lands that you're super familiar with because there are no roads here. When your parents took the apple cart to the farmer's market at Meadowfen, they took the roads.
Yeah.
But you know you're traveling in the loose direction of Marshview.
Okay.
I feel like we should set up camp just because I've been carrying Cam all day and Kina is probably hurt. Can rest up. No harm.
Yeah. So Basil, realizing his own state and like looking at the other, like says out loud, like perhaps we should. We still have quite a ways to go. Perhaps we should pull in for the night and try and recover from our wounds and get a fresh start tomorrow morning.
Do you not just take a few potions? I thought you were fine. Like we can't stop now.
So Basil kind of like holds up the one potion still to Dace, and says we all need to recover.
Still not taking it.
If we can, honestly, if like the more we sleep, the less likely that we can get Cam back. If you guys are fine, we can keep going. This isn't too far away from my home.
How far away is your home?
Like grew up just outside Marshview, but we're heading in that direction.
Hearing this, I turn to Cyrus and I ask, do you know if these people who are able to resurrect loved ones, if there is a time range after death that is...
I don't know. Susan seemed to be I don't know, pretty talented, but I have no idea what she does to bring people back. She said, come visit if you ever need to rest, and she'd tend to anything, any hurts or wounds needed, and I'm sure she could probably fix up your little friend there.
Hugh, make me a Arcana or Religion check. Your choice.
I think room on the table. Right?
Oh, no, it's okay. I'm just trying to see which one I better. Okay. Ooh. 9.
You're a cleric. This is kind of something that you're at least a little bit familiar with. You can't see or say you've actually been a part of raising the dead, but you've heard of it being done, especially in battles to try and bring soldiers back who were more recently dead on the battlefield. What you know with a 9, was that religion or Arcana?
Arcana.
Okay. What you know with a 9 is that magic usually has restrictions. You're not super familiar to the point where you would know exactly what the restriction is, but you know there is a way to bring people back who are freshly dead and who have been dead for a couple days and who have been dead for maybe a little bit longer, but the cost for something like that and the time range for something like that are unknown to you at this time.
Okay.
Please, guys, can we just keep going? Like I can fight. I can hold the lines. I can keep watch. Let's not stop.
I turn to Dace and I say, no, I don't turn to Dace. I turn to Cyrus and I say, are you up for carrying our friend for a little bit to give Dace a rest? You seem pretty large. Do you have wings or hands or arms or what? Fingers, great.
You see fingers poke there. Haven't needed to use these in quite some time, but I do have hands.
He's not taking him. I'll take him.
I guess if you guys push on, there's not much I could do about it, and I guess I'll go where you guys go.
I take Cam's bag off of Apoc and put it on myself, and I ask Dace to hand Cam to Apoc, and we will keep going, I guess.
All right. Kina is definitely going to need some help. She's not having a good time. She's really struggling.
I hand her my walking stick because I should have done that earlier. And
Sir Basil tries to help her.
All right.
And so I take Sir Basil's hand and remove it from Kina's hand and put Cyrus's hand on instead.
Okay.
Yeah, Cyrus should carry her.
All right, so Kina has some help. Apoc, you're carrying Cam, and you notice the same thing that Dace did. Cam's back is ice cold, radiating cold, like the coldest you have ever felt. I don't know if Apoc has felt the cold as intense as this before. And the front of Cam is hot on your fingertips as you are just holding him in your arms and trying to trudge through. Since you are pushing through this very unforgiving, swampy landscape, I do need Constitution saving throws from all of you, please.
Oh, that's a nat one.
Oh, love.
It's a
That's
9.
what it is.
Oh, dear.
8.
17.
I feel like I just died.
Anyone below a 10 takes a point of exhaustion.
Fuck.
How do I add exhaustion?
Under conditions.
Oh,
Under
okay.
conditions, scroll all the way down. So essentially, what is it for 1 point? All of your ability checks are at disadvantage?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You're trudging through this swamp and it is not a good time, you guys. It's muggy. It's gross. Your socks are wet. Your feet are wet. Your fur and the feathers from your kneecaps down are wet from coming in and out of swampy water. Even though you have, torches with you or light from Mrs. Q as you're going along, it's eerie, and it's one of those swamps, the deeper in you go, that the roots and the branches of the trees, have you seen like the German forest where all the Grimm fairy tales are based off of? Yeah, those old growth like European forests where everything is gnarled. That's what it starts to look like as you keep going down.
The vortex.
The vortex. Yes, Cyrus?
You notice as the cloak is starting to get wet, that it starts to steam as it's drying and keeping itself dry as I walk through.
Cool. Love it. But unless there's anything that you guys want to do or say during this trek, we can just fast forward to the morning.
The only thing I wanted to do was talk to Kina while we're walking in and kind of like ask Kina, so I've been racking it in my brain. I don't understand why, but why would someone like you be in the caves by yourself?
Sorry, I missed the last half sentence there, Andrew.
I'm asking Kina, like, why was she in the caves by herself? What would drive her to go and do something so risky by herself?
You can see her like really leaning onto the walking stick from Mrs. Q and really leaning onto Cyrus and just kind of like looks up at you, like panting almost. I remember Keen's voice. I did it for science. They said I shouldn't, but I wanted to find the shifting slime. Who are you people?
We're travelers who, through one wrong decision or many decisions, found a way here to come and help you. You have many people in the town who are worried over you and want to get you back safe.
Well, thank you, I guess, but this is a quite the rescue mission.
Yes, it is. Kind of like letting the conversation roll for a bit. He then asks, so what is it about these shifting slimes that is so important?
No one's ever really kind of gotten a living sample. I wanted to catch one, bring it back to the granary, study it. Everybody said it changes, but nobody ever said how.
How much would a sample of the slime or even tails of these creatures be? How much would that be worth? Or
Well, I mean, we know about them, but there's been dead samples, but not a live one. I don't know the cost. I'm a researcher. I know my professors at the Avium were interested in it. That's how I got here.
would we know what this avian place is?
Yeah, you would know. I think all of you would probably hear of it. The Avium is like a college, a university that's outside of Alderhart, for practitioners of the arcane or researchers or like engineers and artificers. They would go there to study. And you've heard that a lot of the researchers in the Knowing Reach or the wranglers of the slimes collecting the slimes ship them north to the Avium for study.
Okay. Hearing that and seeing how bad of a state Kina is, so Basil just kind of goes in and kind of like supports her other side, and they just continue walking.
Right. Right. Yeah, you're able to push through the night, and after what seems like forever walking in this awful, gross swamp, with the exception of Cyrus, who's able to keep his cloak nice and dry.
Don't know
Apoc
why.
Cam is. Pardon?
Don't know why, but it just stays dry.
Chem is starting to get heavy in your arms. You can feel it in your shoulders and your back. But as the dawn approaches, you're able to see this thin, kind of wiry strand is the wrong word, but I'm going to use it anyways. Strand of smoke coming up into the sky. It doesn't look too far. You can see it overhead. And Cyrus, you know that, that kind of looks familiar, the way that tree is all twisted. Susan always said to watch out for the tree that looks like a Y. It's starting to look more familiar to you.
Crikey, we're here.
Oh no. And just as you say that, just as the sun breaks over the horizon, you come to the top of a hill and you look down into this little valley in the middle of this swamp. And it's this beautiful little clearing with some long grasses that are gently swaying in the wind, a fog kind of lifting from over the opposite ridge of the hill. And you see a little tiny hut surrounded by a beautiful little garden with leaves that you recognize as turnips, Mrs. Q. Just because I want to throw that in there. And it's right there at the bottom of the hill. Cyrus, this is Susan's hut.
Well, we're here. If you're Susan.
It is at the bottom of the hill, so she might not be able to hear you.
All right, you blokes, let's get down there. I'm tired as it is. That guy must be pretty important to you, boar man. I don't think you've ever told me your name.
If I did, I said Apoc.
You did.
Apoc.
Apoc just runs towards the hut.
We slowly help Kina down.
I try and keep up with Apoc because I'm a little bit concerned that one, he will trip and fall, and two, that he might just barge into someone's house uninvited, which might not help our cause.
With a dead guy.
Yeah.
You're a little bit slower, Mrs. Q.
You should roll in a ball and just go.
Oh, can I?
Sonic.
Sure, why not?
That's fun. I'm doing that.
All right.
I sonic down the side of this hill.
Just for fun, just for fun. Let's see who gets down faster. Apoc, make me an athletics check.
Oh boy, disadvantage.
At disadvantage, Mrs. Q, for you, since you're, okay, hold on. Athletics or acrobatics, your choice. Mrs. Q, athletics or acrobatics? Let's see who makes it down the hill first.
But disadvantage still, right?
With disadvantage, because you are exhausted.
10.
That's a 7.
Her other one was a nat 20, so.
I'm dumb and I like fun. I'm gonna penguin slide down the hill, and as I do, you see that the moisture in the foliage starts to freeze, slicking up in front of me as I slide.
Oh.
All right, you want to be part of this race?
Oh fuck yeah!
Athletics or acrobatics?
That's definitely a 6.
What did you get?
7.
Mrs. Q, you curl up into a ball and you just roll.
Yeah.
And you make it there. You hit the turnips a little bit because it wasn't a great roll. So you kind of run over a little bit of the turnips in the garden, but you kind of like unroll yourself and like turtle for a second and get to your feet just in time to see Apoc, who decided to be a little more careful carrying Cam down. And you see Cyrus coming in last, but his ice slide came up a little too short. So, you know, if you go too far on a slip and slide and you like end up on the grass, that's like the last 5 feet for Cyrus.
Oh.
All right, but yeah, you are at the door to this hut that has this slowly snaking smoke coming out of the chimney. You assume that was the same smoke that you saw before. And you can hear some faint sort of humming and clicking inside.
I get myself up onto my legs again and just, and then look down at the radishes and try and like
Radishes.
back in. Oh, turnips. You said turnips. I try and like pat them back into the ground and like floof them, make sure they look okay.
All right, while she's playing with the turnips, I just throw open the door.
You just throw open the door. One other thing is that even though you guys were walking for all night long, that state of hot and cold with Cam did not change.
Ooh, interesting.
You just like kick this door open because your hands are preoccupied right now. And you hear from behind the door just this.
Susan! Susan! Susan?
Yes? Who are you?
We're here with, what was that? Cyrus. Cyrus brought us here.
Oh, Cyrus. Oh, he came back. And you see coming from behind like a little like nightstand that it kind of toppled over. This little hedge, a little bit older, kind of resembles Mrs. Q without the apron. And she's got on this like long kind of purple robe with, oh boy, sorry, I have some eyelashes in my eye. With these like beaded necklaces. One has this like scarab beetle amulet at the end of it. There's these like ferns that have been kind of placed and tucked behind her ears. There's a pleasant smell of like tea or something sweet brewing. And you kind of see hidden in the bottom of her robe around her feet, this actually quite big beetle that sort of just clicks at her feet and pokes its head out from her robes looking at you. You're not Cyrus.
No, I can fix that. I'll fix the table. I'm sorry. I can't fix this. And I just pull out Cam's body.
Right. While this is happening, the rest of you are joining.
Yeah.
Catch everybody up? Okay.
I run in afterwards and noticing that it's a hedge. I intentionally, I'm like excited, but I hide my necklace in my like frills. I don't know.
All right, yeah, you just tuck it under your dress or something like that.
Interesting.
All right, yeah, she kind of like looks over your shoulder, Apoc, and sees everybody else and kind of sees Cyrus and Cyrus, dear, it's good to see you.
As
what-
as she waves, my eyes start to glow a little like white and blue, and only Susan can hear me say, "These are new friends of mine. They are worried about their friend. If you could look after them, that'd be very, very helpful. They obviously care about him very much because they ran through the night to bring him here. Do what you can."
Oh, I see. Okay, still up to your old tricks, Cyrus. That's a new one, though.
Is that out loud?
Yeah, that's out loud.
Not realizing like that was kind of weird. Basil's kind of like looks at Cyrus, looks back at her, and
Oi, I'm hoping you can help her.
You all look exhausted. Sit. Tell me what happened. Oh, poor little one.
He's gone.
When did it happen?
15 hours ago. I don't. Time's a weird construct.
Time's weird.
I mentioned to her that his body is ice cold and also getting hot. If that means anything.
Let me see if it means anything to Susan.
What's cooler than ice cold?
Ice cold. I can't hear you.
Well, I haven't heard of that in particular, Mr. Strigg, but I'll maybe I can find something. As for your friend, oh, where are my manners? I'm Susan, you already know that. But if I'm going to help your friend, I may need some help. I can't do it on my own, but we need this. Normal, move. And you see as she addresses the little beetle, he kind of like scurries up onto the broken side table that was knocked over when Susan got scared after the door was kicked open. And you see Susan kind of disappear into a side room, and all of a sudden you just hear like a heavy piece of furniture being pulled across floor. And you hear Susan just like, oh, this stupid thing, it's been years since I've had to use it, and it's too heavy. And she kind of pops her head around the corner. I need somebody strong. Please.
What if we come to you?
Oh, that's a better idea. Yes, come. And when you go around the corner, you see this massive jet black cauldron that's been kind of, it almost looks like chiseled out of one solid piece of like obsidian.
whoa.
It's got like a sheen on the outside, and the decorations and the artwork almost make it look like flames underneath this cauldron that's been carved right into it, but there's somehow like shading to this thing. It's beautiful and it's massive. This might sound weird, my dear. I can help with this, but you're going to need to work very fast. The ritual can only be done after 10 days, within 10 days of your friend departing this plane. So if you say it's already been about a day, we have 9 days left. This cauldron will help us bring him back if he wants to come back. I don't suppose you know if he would want to come back or not.
Would I have known that? I don't know if that's a role I can make.
You can make a wisdom saving throw. Let's see if you remember anything.
Just to clarify as well, you said if he wants to come back?
If he wants to come back.
If he wants to come back.
18.
I'm assuming is it advantage? Sorry, is it disadvantage?
No, it's a save. So
Yeah,
you're
okay.
good.
18.
18. Cam, would you ever have told Apoc anything of the sort? What would Apoc remember?
Well, I'm Cyrus, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Just to see if Apoc would know anything. You
Honestly,
guys are pretty young.
honestly, I don't think he would have,
Okay.
because I don't think he would have. I don't think he would have been thinking or talking in those terms.
Yeah, we'll
Like,
leave it at that.
He was. I think he'd be too young to be thinking about death at that point.
Guys, I know we want to come back. We have to do this.
We nod, I guess. Okay.
All right, so for right now, youngling, I need you to put him in this cauldron.
What?
You're going to have to trust me with this one.
Why?
Well,
Why in the cauldron?
I don't have the magic to do this, but the cauldron does.
Can I roll insight on her?
Sure.
Is she like giving me a weird, creepy witch vibe?
In Cam soup.
Oh, that's not good. That's a 5.
I mean, there's absolutely like a witch vibe going on. It doesn't seem super creepy. I mean,
Okay.
there's nothing around the hut that looks weird or odd. Like it just looks like a hut. Maybe a couple of like flowers in jars kind of deal, but nothing creepy.
Yeah, Apoc, don't worry. It's Susan. It's Susan.
As a cook, would you know, like, does the cauldron seem legit?
Would I know if the cauldron is legit?
Make a we'll do religion or arcana again. It can go either or. And it's going to be at disadvantage.
Okay. Okay. 15.
15. Was that religion or arcana?
That was Arcana.
Okay. Yeah. Mrs. Q, you recognize this. This is very rare, actually. So it's kind of cool that Susan has one. This is a cauldron of rebirth. And you know that it does have the ability to bring someone back from the dead within 10 days and with some hefty ingredients that don't seem to be in this particular room.
I sidle up to Apoc and I give him a little pat on the shoulder and I say, "It's okay. Let's do as she says." And I try. I like also to help him lower Cam into the.
Wait. Does he need to be naked? Do we need to strip him? Like, what's gonna happen to his stuff?
That's a great question. Last time I had to do one of these was a while ago. But no. I think he had his robes on still.
Okay. I'm just gonna take his blades and his weapons out if he still had them on him.
Okay.
Just to be safe.
Yeah, sure.
Well, yeah, I assume like if he had a pack or anything, like we wouldn't put it in with him.
Yeah. We'll just put his stuff in his bag. His magical stuff, at least.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, you can take his possessions and put him in his bag so he just has his armor and his cloak on and anything like that.
Sir Basil's still holding onto his hat.
Yeah, holding onto his hat. Dace holding onto all the apples. Or so you holding onto all the apples. Do you go to lower Cam into the cauldron?
Yeah, me and Miss Q lower him in slowly.
As you kind of stand over the cauldron and go to put Cam down, like right before your eyes, the cauldron, the flames just start to kind of flicker and the cauldron sort of elongates to take the shape of Cam's body. So it looks like he's just kind of like lying in the cauldron itself. The artwork does not change. It still has like a cauldron kind of shape, but instead of it just being a round circle, it's now this elongated oval.
Cool.
All right, so what I need from you, if you're willing to do this, we are going to need some components. And I don't have it here, but I know where to get some. It's going to be a trek though. Are you sure you want to do this?
Sorry.
There was a really dirty look that was exchanged between you two.
I whispered to Georgina when you said like, "Oh, we need some components." I said, "The blood of a virgin."
Oh.
Oh.
Maybe not that. Maybe not that. No, we need the earth to remember him. So we need salt, and we need a lot of it. Checks notes. Checks computer notes.
Swear to God, if this is like a chili recipe, salt, paprika, sausage.
I go over and cut just enough to get a drop of blood off of Dace, and I go to
Dace.
I go to Basil. Is this what you mean you needed by the blood?
Oh.
Wow.
So mean.
We're at that level. Okay.
Oh
Oh wow.
no. Susan just kind of like paused mid-sentence as this happened. Okay. No, we need salt. We need lots of salt.
Hey, Dace, you better throw some salt on that bird.
My God. Where can we
You're
get
smiling. That's a good thing.
Apoc goes frowns again.
Oh, okay. What did you say, Mrs. Q?
where can we get such a large volume of salt?
Yes. So you're going to need like 200 pounds of salt, and
Jesus.
I have a friend. I have a friend. He doesn't owe me a favor, but it would be nice if he remembered that he was a friend with me. He's about a day's journey, a little bit farther south of here, just on the outskirts of Marshview. His name is Cirillo. He's an enchanter of sorts, so he has these kinds of components. He's a bit of an older Vulpin, but if you tell him that I sent you, if you tell him it's important, he should help. He can be a little bit of a negotiator. I would prefer that Cirillo didn't get hurt for this, but just stand your ground with him. He'll give you the component.
Is it just salt?
It's just salt, but I need 200 pounds of it.
That's all you need?
Well, it's 200 pounds of salt. It's quite a bit.
Yeah, no, I said I was bracing.
So you're saying 200 pounds of salt can fit into that cauldron?
Of course it can. It's a magic cauldron.
Did you not just see it change shape?
Hmm.
I promise to take care of your friend while you're gone. But if you're going to go and find Cirillo, he's just south of Marshview. And if you're going to go through the marsh itself, the swamp itself, you're going to have to cross a river, but just look for a natural bridge. I promise it'll be there. Head straight west of here.
Speaking just to like out of game, like how is everyone doing right now? Like, do people need to rest?
Yeah.
You guys are exhausted, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can keep going.
I'll take a nap.
It's for Cam. Do it for Cam. No, we should definitely do
Hey, Park, come on.
You guys
How-
don't seem to be doing so well.
How many days can I get you guys to go? Just out of guilt.
6.
Oh, man.
No.
Um,
You don't seem to be doing very well, but hold on a second. And you see her kind of like shuffle past you. She kind of shuffles the way Mrs. Q shuffles in her little hedge form. And you see the little beetle normal just sort of scurry after her once she leaves the room. And you kind of, if you go and watch her, she's kind of in the kitchen area with a little stove that had the kettle boiling. And she kind of is opening like all the cupboards and leaving the doors open, like all chaotic, and like moving things around and like, no, this is sage. No, that's parsley. Ah, here we go. And she'll pull out another 3 red liquids in vials and kind of hand them to you.
Blood of the Virgin?
No, this will give you a little bit of a pick-me-up if you did want to keep going.
Oh, healing potions.
They're all I have left though, so unless you're going to collect more ingredients for me, this is all I can provide.
Will it heal exhaustion?
No. Just HP.
Okay.
No, unfortunately, the bags under your eyes aren't going to get any better, but it'll give you a little bit of a pick-me-up if you are planning to leave right away. You're welcome to rest here, though. I mean, your friend isn't going anywhere, neither am I.
Sure, I can take them with us unless the team wants to rest first and then go.
We should definitely rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we have 10 days, it's more time than I thought.
9 days. No.
Days.
I take the potions from Susan and I say, thank you very much. We will hopefully be able to return them as is. Perhaps we won't need them, but they are good as a just in case. Is there anywhere where we could take a rest? I think as much as our team would love to power through, I'm not much sure they have left to give at the moment without taking some sleep.
Of course, yeah. I mean, there's the living room, or the kitchen is quite comfortable. I fall asleep here sometimes myself. Don't recommend you go in the bedroom. That's where your friend is right now, unless you want to go in there. But you know, a spot on the floor is nice no matter where it is.
The living room's fine.
Yeah, you can go ahead. Don't mind Normal. He sometimes likes to cuddle up if he sees somebody on the floor. So, but he's very friendly, I promise.
My eyes glow white again as I just kind of message to Susan without anybody hearing. Thank you.
Oh, don't mention it at all.
And then I pick up Norm and give him some scritches and cuddle him to sleep.
Oh. He if it's the equivalent of a Beatles purr, where it's just like clicking, but like a cute clicking. I don't know.
Oh,
So Basil will help Kina, I don't know, sit down somewhere and make sure she's comfortable.
She'll just like the nearest, she like passed out at the door kind of deal. And as you kind of come over and try and move her over a little bit, I am not coming with you. Let me stay here, please.
that sounds like a great idea. Maybe you can watch over Apoc Cam while we're gone. I'll watch over it.
So if it's a long rest you're aiming for, you can absolutely take a long rest in the safety of Susan's hut.
Before we go to bed,
If there's anything you want to do, go for it.
I just want to pull out the end table that got knocked over when I come out through the door open, and using the slime that we had retrieved, as well as some of the bioluminescent moss that we gathered, just put some of the parts back together and give it this nice like iridescent light from the moss, and like drape it down the legs where it was broken, just to kind of hide the breaks and give it a warm, cooling light.
Oh, I love that. You take an inspiration for that. Like, that's super cute. Yeah, you're able to do it and spend some time on it. It's no role required for this. And yeah, it's quite lovely. Like the vases that break and you fill it with gold instead of throwing it out. It's this beautiful little glowing piece of furniture, and Susan's a bit busy in the kitchen right now to notice, but maybe when you wake up, she'll notice. Is there anything else anyone wanted to do before bed? Oh, just gonna keel over? Cool. Let's take a break there because I need something to drink.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some beer.
Okay.
Does that
Shall we? I'll give you guys a villain to fight with all of your pent up rage at the service industry, or I guess service providers, sorry. All right, so we'll pick back up on the floor in the living room of Susan's hut.
I feel like there's a
After-
song there.
After a well-deserved long rest, you got to Susan's hut at like the crack of dawn. And after about 8 hours, it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah, more or less 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. So you kind of wake up nice and warm with the afternoon sun shining in through the window and the still open door that she has not closed. And you can hear humming kind of outside. And you see Normal sort of snuggled up next to Cyrus. But you all come to consciousness.
Would I have been
Except
able,
for Kina, who is like out cold.
would I have been able to get up a little earlier before everybody?
Sure.
I want to meddle with Apoc's quiver. So while he's sleeping, I want to straighten and fix up all of his arrows so they're nice and polished.
Okay.
So that-
Apoc, do you like snuggle with your quiver at night?
I don't snuggle with it, but I mean, if he's not quiet, it might wake up.
it would be very quiet. Very quiet. And I'm going to stand over him when he wakes up and say, "You best not be pointing those at me anymore. If we're gonna go save your friend, and make sure those arrows shoot clearly, but just not at me. All right?
They haven't crossed this so far.
All right, mate. Let's do this." And he waddles over to the door.
Ooh, I am scared.
What a weird fellow.
Is there anything you guys wanted to do before you set off?
Let's see. Question.
Yes.
The whetstone that we recovered,
Mm-hmm.
that Cam took,
Mm-hmm.
is it still like, because the way you described it, it was almost like a cold whetstone. It was giving off like cold. And-
Yeah, like frost on a window is how the whetstone looked.
And I assume we would have I assume we would have kind of put two and two together, like the fact that he sharpened his dagger by it, and then like all of a sudden there was like this like cold thing coming off of his dagger.
Mm-hmm.
Could I kind of like going over to Cam's stuff? I put his hat down and I take that whetstone.
Whoa. What are you doing with Cam's stuff? He's been dead. He's been gone a day.
Oh, not taking it, simply using it to sharpen my blade. I think where we might be going, Cam would want us to be prepared.
Just look over at Basil for a moment.
Kind of like holding it, kind of like, would you like me to put it back?
If you think he would want that.
So Basil just reluctantly puts it back in the bag, but says, I still want to hold on to this just to keep him close. And I take his hat.
Okay, so you put the whetstone back, but you take Cam's hat.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So with Cam's hat in tow, Apoc's straightened arrows, you walk out of Susan's hut and you see her kind of working away in her garden, and she sees you coming out and just sort of waves. Remember, you're going straight west from here, and Cirillo lives on the outskirts of Marsh. Please be careful. Don't get lost. You only have 10 days, 9 days. Get back as soon as you can. 200 pounds of salt, please.
Do we need bags? Like we fit 200 pounds of salt in our bag.
Do we need to pick up our cart again? Did we leave it at the cave?
Yep.
Yeah, we did.
We'll get that later.
That's 2 days ago. Oh my god.
We'll go back for it.
Yeah, the horses that you brought with you might not be super happy.
Yeah. See ya. Take care. Bye. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, I assume we can't go back because that's what like
No, no.
that's not-
Another day. Another 2 days. Yeah.
2 days in the opposite direction.
I mean, carts don't normally do well in the swamp, but you know, there might be something in Marshview if you need some sort of container. You all, well, at least 4 of you are young and spry and quite strong, I'm assuming. My dear, I could be underestimating you, and she kind of addresses you, Mrs. Q. But the gentleman certainly should be able to carry 200 pounds of salt, I'm assuming. I know I can't do it.
Can we ask Susan to possibly go get Thunder and Lightning?
And leave Apoc.
But Kino,
I mean,
Kino's there.
yeah, I don't know how useful she would be right now.
How's Kino looking this morning?
Kina was out. She's still asleep.
Even awake.
We're
Was there grass around where we left the horses?
in a swamp, right?
You're in a swamp. I mean, they would find something.
They're fine.
I'm not sure if you took the cart though, to be honest with you, because you knew you were going off the road. We'll have to watch the
Oh
video.
yeah, that's true.
We
Right.
left it by the side of the road.
You either left it by the side of the road or you left them in winnowing reach. I don't remember.
They're fine.
Yo, man, if someone teethed Thunder and Lightning,
I'll figure it out and we'll see their fates later. I'll go back in the archives.
Sir Basil kind of makes sure that Cam's hat is like perfectly like secure in his pack, puts it on his back and kind of ushers the group to kind of start heading west.
I have a proposition here. Why don't we just go to the city and ask like restaurants and like merchants for salt?
200 pounds though. And this person said he'd give it like, what's her name? Susan said he owed her.
Yeah, but we can just buy it.
We can get it for free and not have to go all the way to the city.
But I'm sure this guy will ask us to do something.
Yeah,
But
she said to be firm.
Be like firm, yeah, to push him, but not to like hurt him, but to be firm.
Let's go there and see.
Money talks. Money talk.
How much money do you have?
15 gold.
What would I know the average price of salt in Marsh would be?
Honestly, I don't know why you didn't look this up ahead of time.
It's right here. Never you mind. It's the hats all over again.
Yeah.
Salt is not super expensive, but 200 pounds of it, first of all, it might be a little hard to actually come by 200 pounds. I mean, you know Marshview, that's your home. Are there enough restaurants for 200 pounds of salt?
But could we just ask
Kind of a
the
question.
producer and then just make an order for 200 pounds?
It's gonna take too long.
It's a mine
You
salt.
might.
9 days? 9 days though? Too long?
Yeah, what if it comes all the way from Elderheart?
That's fair.
Where's that?
Way north.
Yeah, but then we obviously ask someone else who has it cheaper and
This guy, the first guy that we're supposed to go ask.
You do, there we go. You get the sense that 200 pounds of salt might cost you 10 gold, should you find 200 pounds of salt.
Yes, we know we can get it from this guy. Why go wander around a city begging for salt?
so this guy has salt.
Yeah.
If he doesn't,
We'll kill
Then-
him.
She said not to kill him.
Then we will kill Susan.
No.
Susan's bringing up-
Why? She's the one that led us on a 10-day trip for no reason in the
It's
hopes of
not
rescuing our
This
friends.
is just slowly pulling his head.
Miss Q, I think Dace needs some food.
I'm
I go
hangry.
to Dace and I grab his face and I say, "You just need a snack."
Can I give her my inspiration?
Sure. You have inspiration now, Georgina.
I'm assuming you didn't have inspiration before?
I didn't know.
Okay, you can take mine for that.
Love it.
Do you have a cookie? Is there a cookie?
Cookie, there's always a cookie. Here's a cookie.
Okay, then I shut up. I just need my cookie.
That is going to be my favorite exchange of any episode of any D&D campaign I've ever played in. That's amazing. All right, as Dace munches on his cookie, you start heading west. And I need, nope, that's a lie, east.
Oh,
All of the
really?
wests I just said are east.
Oh,
You
they're
start
all
heading
east?
east.
Okay.
East is Marshview, east is this hut that you're trying to go to, Cirillo's hut.
Okay.
It's east, not west. That's my mistake. I read the compass wrong.
I start walking west.
Okay. Yeah, you can see where Marshview is on the map there.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah. So you start heading east to get to Marshview
It's really in this area.
Yes.
Okay. Apoc's from up here.
Yes.
Okay. I see.
All right. Sorry, confusion. I just checked the map again. That was my bad. But yeah, I'm assuming somebody grabbed Cyrus to bring him east instead of west.
Yep.
Actually, didn't you say west and Cyrus said he went east?
No, don't do this.
It was one of the two.
Don't
I
do
remember
this.
Cyrus doing that too.
Don't do this. I need, as you go ahead and travel and take off at 2 p.m., I need someone to give me an adventure roll for the afternoon. Someone roll a d20, please.
Ace.
The Virgin.
Dace the Virgin.
This is gonna kill one of you, I swear.
Yeah, it's not like he's gonna rage or anything.
Oh man. An 11.
We at least get 2 rounds before he rages.
Yeah.
All right, with an 11. Okay, let me see. Oh, fun. All right. So you start en route, taking off mid-afternoon, heading east. Let's say that again. Heading east. There is no road for you to follow here. You're just walking along, kind of like needing to pull your feet up that were dry in Susan's hut and are now wet again, except for, I'm assuming, Cyrus, who was able to keep his stuff dry. And as you're moving along, you all notice something up ahead, kind of hanging from one of the lower branches of those like big giant mangrove trees in this swamp. And it looks just like a backpack kind of hanging, or a satchel, sorry, kind of hanging by its
Strap.
thank you. It's strapped. And it's just kind of hanging there, like right over your heads as you start to approach.
Can I look at it and pull it down without using my hands? Like just pick it up like I've done everything else? If
Is there a weight limit on your thing? Your ability?
I think it's 5 pounds. I mean, let me just double check this. It's
I have to double check something too.
10 pounds.
10 pounds.
10 pounds.
Give me a second.
Well, he doesn't know it. He's using Mage Hand.
Yeah, okay, so you're able to, yes, thank you. You're using your ability that you know so well and go to lift it off of the branch and pull it down, and you can pull it down. It's not that heavy. And it's just floating in front of you. by this invisible something.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think?
Should we look at that?
Magic.
You want to open it up?
Sir Basil agrees and says, perhaps we should take a look.
Right? You go ahead and open up the bag. And you kind of reach in, Sir Basil, and you pull out this long braided hempen rope, another 50 feet of it. And it looks actually in like pretty good condition. So you kind of like can hold on to that, and you reach back in and start patting around, and the satchel itself is mostly empty and it's kind of damp on the inside. It doesn't feel super good. And your hand closes on something very polished, kind of a sort of long, skinny, cool, almost rock type of feel to it. And you pull it out, and it's this like ivory colored, very smoothly carved wooden pipe. A pipe.
Okay.
And as you're holding it in your hand and kind of turning it over, it looks like it's carved from wood, but it's got a little bit of heft to it.
Okay. Trying to think, would Sir Basil smoke? I don't know. Would my character smoke?
I don't know.
Probably not.
Aragorn smokes.
My question is, like, you find a pipe in the middle of the woods. It's not, do you smoke? It's, do you smoke this pipe?
That's fair. That's absolutely the right question we asked. Sir Basil kind of like holding his hand, holds it out to the group and says, take a look at this, and hands it to whoever is closest to him, kind of just holding it out for the group. Is there anything intricate about the pipe that we can discern? Like, is it other than just like the material? Like, is there like carvings in it? Is it like shaped like anything? I don't know.
Make an investigation check.
That is a crit fail.
Ooh.
It's a cool pipe.
Cool.
There's like a swarm of gnats that flies into your face, and like you're trying to wipe your eyes, and the pipe accidentally like just falls from your hand and drops. And I don't know, whoever would be closest, I guess you're all kind of around. As the wind kind of like goes through this pipe, you see a bubble come out.
Apoc just pulls up some bioluminescent moss. I mean, if you really want to smoke it.
Oh boy.
What do I do?
Keep it. Take it with you. Sell it at the next place.
Sure. Sir Basil just picks it up and just puts it into his. Looking at the rope and looking at the pipe, he just puts both in his pack and says, these may come in handy. We never know. And I guess seeing that the bag is now empty, kind of like, does he toss it or maybe he just hands it to the rest of the group?
And we might need that bag for salt.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Very clever.
Kind of folds it up and tucks it under his arm, and they keep going.
Sure. Yeah, you can add that to your inventory. But yeah, you're able to keep going, and it's actually quite lovely here. you're out of the thickness of the swamp in the dead of night. So even though the mangroves, you know, they look scary at night, you know, they're twisted and gnarled, but they're actually quite beautiful during the day with the sun rays doing it. It's really nice sunny thing. And as the sun starts to set, if you've been traveling for, I think it was 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it's getting closer to 8 o'clock now. So another 6 hours of travel, you start to hear the sound of running water.
That's good.
Susan said that we would come across a river. We need to find a
And to-
natural bridge.
To find the bridge, yes.
So as you walk forward a little bit more, another half an hour of walking from the time you first heard it, you do come to this river that Susan told you about, but it is huge. It's a huge river, and Apoc, you know, being kind of around this area, you know that Marshview is not too far away from the Talon-Grit coast. So this river might go directly into the sea, not too far away. And it is roaring this afternoon. You kind of look northward, you kind of look to the south. The trees are a little bit thick. You don't really see a natural bridge anywhere around here. But it's kind of a hillier terrain. And you do see that the river starts to wind a little bit farther to the north. What would you guys like to do?
Should we continue south along the river?
That's going to the ocean. And the city, right?
I think heading south gets us closer to Marshview. I think.
Right? Well, Apoc would know, right?
I'm just thinking of what Susan said of like,
She said find the natural bridge.
but then that means we either go north or south, but we
Yeah.
don't know if we have doing both.
How far across the is the river? Like how far to the other side?
It is, see, I don't know my feet very well.
There's a left and a
It's
right.
here, but I'm gonna do this in meters because I know what a meter looks like more than I know what a foot looks like. It's from one end to the other, you can see that it winds, you can see that it starts to get skinny and go wide, but at its widest point where you are sort of right now, it's like 50, 60 meters across.
50?
How much is 50 meters in feet?
150 feet.
I'm doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Like this river is huge. If you're
What about
looking
its
at the
narrowness?
map, if you're looking at the map of Humblewood,
What did it
right above where it says Talon-Grit Coast, kind of right to the left-hand side of that, you can see that delta.
Yeah,
You're right at the opening of that delta.
Ah,
okay.
Yeah, 30 feet is 30 meters is 100 feet. So
It's 164.
164.
Yeah, like this thing is huge.
Just a stone toss away.
What about at its narrowest though?
From what you can see at its narrowest, it would likely be going north.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to tell from where you are because you're walking sort of uphill if you decide to go north. But you might be able to find maybe calm waters. You might be able to find the bridge to traverse. There might be a skinnier part that you can try and fight the current.
Yeah.
It's a little bit difficult to tell from here though.
Well, let's pick. Do we go north or do we go south?
I think north.
Yeah, north.
As well.
I think
Okay.
it's more likely that it will be narrower further away from the delta then.
So we continue north along the river.
All right.
Wait, do we need to mark this spot or like mark somewhere so we know how to get back to Susan's? Or do you know?
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Cyrus?
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Okay.
Famous last words. All right, so you clock the spot where you are right now, kind of shrug your shoulders and start heading north. Heading north along this riverbed. And as you're as you're walking north, it is going a little bit uphill. And the river does start to kind of move eastward, start to move a little bit westward. And by the time you are coming to the first bend in the river, night has fallen. You got a late start to the day and it is now dark. You can hear the roaring of the river. It's getting a little bit too hard for you to tell whether it's skinnier, whether it's safer to cross. One thing you do note is that even with torchlight or the lights from Mrs. Q, you don't exactly see any type of bridge or anything right now. But it's getting a little bit harder to see as the darkness of the swamp kind of takes over.
Okay.
We keep going.
Yeah.
Go for a bit and make camp, get up in the morning.
All right.
All right. You go ahead and continue north, I'm assuming a little bit more, and you start to go around the bend of the river that heads a little bit to the east. I'd like everyone to go ahead and make a perception check for me, please.
15.
16.
Nat 1.
I got 23.
23.
Nat 20.
Nat 20.
Nice.
Okay. Wow, that's a roller coaster there. I think we had like every quadrant.
Yeah.
All right, as you push on, you're walking for a few more hours heading to this north, coming around the bend of this river that heads to the east. It's pitch black. It sucks. It's hard to move here. And you're starting to feel that fatigue set into your bones again, until Apoc, with his very keen eyes in the dark, sees this jagged, crooked stump of this massive tree up ahead on your side of the river. And with the lights from whatever torches or whatever lights that Mrs. Q or anyone is able to conjure, Apoc, with your keen eyes, you're able to see what looks like this massive tree that has fallen across the river, forming a natural bridge.
Guys, Cam showed me this once. He said this was his favorite bridge. I
You
can't believe
son of a bitch.
Can't believe we found it.
Do we want to attempt to cross it
At night.
at night, or do we want to wait until the morning?
From where you are right now, you cannot see the other side of the riverbank. You can hear it roaring. You can't see the other side. This river is huge.
But we know that the trunk of the tree reaches the other side.
So
You
maybe
can see that this tree is huge, like think giant sequoia kind of tree here, on this rocky cliff that has fallen, that seems to be across the river, but you can see maybe the first like 10 feet in front with your lights, and that's all you get. It's dark.
Maybe we shouldn't cross the water in pitch black.
probably smart. So maybe we just set up camp at the base of the stump.
Okay.
Well, maybe not right at the base of the stump, because I mean, there may be some unsavory folk who use it at night.
Okay.
There could be a troll under the bridge.
Well, we're gonna set up watch, right?
Mhm.
We're
Yeah.
all gonna fall asleep.
Okay. Yep.
Right.
Cool.
All right, so you're setting up watch. Who is gonna take the first watch?
Who has the best perception?
I'll take the first watch.
I got dark vision. Is that better than night vision?
Oh, I guess I should have had. Never mind, you're fine. Do you have dark vision?
Yeah.
Okay, you're fine. You're good.
Yeah, if you want to take the second watch, go for it, Dace. I also have dark vision, so if we want to triple
I
up.
think we all have dark vision.
Okay.
I don't
I
know.
th-
I don't know if I do.
Oh, okay.
So under your senses, left-hand side of your character sheet.
I thought it was everybody but one, and it might be you, Miss Q.
Senses?
Senses. I don't have anything.
no, I think Miss Q would have it. She's a hedge. I think they're nocturnal.
Okay.
I have nothing written under senses.
Okay, Sir Basil, you do not have dark vision, and Mrs. Q, you do not have dark vision.
I'm sure I have a keen sense of smell. I feel like hedgehogs have good noses.
We'll get to that if it arrives. All right, so who's taking the first watch again? Sorry, or is it you? Okay. Roll a perception check for me, Apoc. Unless there's anything anyone wanted to do before bed. All right, hearing none.
Before we go to bed, I'm just gonna walk over to Cyrus and pull out I want to say skeleton, but like
Wah!
bony talon, and just drop it in front of him. Don't touch my stuff. As this bird's claw just lands in front of you.
The bird claw floats up and is handed back to you. Don't leave your stuff lying around there, mate.
Oh, tense.
As I just go back to the fire, whatever we've prepared.
And I go straight to bed.
All right, Apoc, give me a perception check. Let's see what you see.
That's another nat 20!
Is that
It's
three?
the same die!
Is that three this time?
Yes.
No, it's only 2, I think.
Jeez Louise.
It's a 23 total.
All right,
Jesus.
cool, that's great. All right. Let me see what you see.
God.
Those are great dice.
Yeah, no kidding.
Fantastic. I picked it up. I was like, oh, fuck, I have to roll a 20 for this.
All right, cool. All right, Apoc, during your watch, nothing gets by you. It's dark. You can see, but even after the reaches of your torches, it's pretty dark. But about an hour into your watch, halfway through, you do notice kind of along the trees that are sort of right next to where you've made camp, these like blooms start to appear, and they're glowing this just vibrant purple. And they kind of remind you of a meadow from a very long time ago in your past. And as they start to kind of open up their petals and these beautiful kind of flowers of this purple and these pinks, just on a couple tree trunks around you. You notice that they stay open for just a little bit before closing themselves back up and taking their glow with them.
It's very peaceful.
But your watch passes uneventfully, other than that. Who's taking the second watch?
Dace?
All right, Dace. Unless there's anything you want to do, go ahead and give me a perception check.
As
4.
as Dace and Apoc are just switching watches,
Or
he notices just like a tear going down his eye as Apoc goes and nestles in bed.
I'm gonna give you a hug after this.
I-
With a 4.
Yeah.
With a 4, Dace, you take up your spot. And you, for whatever reason, maybe bird folk don't do so well in a swamp and not in their perches up in the trees. You are just attacked by mosquitoes.
Oh.
They suck. You're like really busy trying to swat them away, and you might not be paying too much attention to your watch itself. But fortunately, with the exception of a couple bug bites and quite a few mosquito fatalities, your watch passes uneventfully.
Do I take any damage or?
No.
Okay.
But you now have malaria.
Yeah.
You take like psychic damage for knowing that you got bit by mosquitoes.
West Nile, everything.
No.
And who is taking the last watch?
I think it was me with my
Right.
dark vision. Ooh, dirty 20.
Nice. Okay, great. So you get up and go ahead and take the last watch, Cyrus, and you kind of just plunk yourself down, keep a lookout, looking around. And what you notice is that during this time of the night, kind of right before dawn, it has gotten silent. Like there's no noise at all in this swamp. And as you're kind of watching around, you notice up in the branches, kind of tucked away almost a little bit out of sight, this kind of shining, shimmering, splendid, I realized it as soon as I said it, blue colored ooze or sap starting to that's kind of just like slowly dripping down the trunk of one of the trees.
Oh no. Oh no. I start trembling in fear. Start like hyperventilating. As I watch it, is it moving towards the group?
It doesn't seem to be moving the way you know slimes to move. It just sort of seems to be almost like bleeding from the tree, if that makes sense. Like it's moving very slowly down the trunk of the tree, not with any purpose or direction, just.
I'll keep my eyes fixed on it, but if it starts closing its distance or getting closer to us, then I might react.
Sure. Yeah, as you watch for like the last hour of your watch, just like frozen in fear with the party behind you, it just sort of reaches the ground and almost just starts to puddle. Just kind of like how, I don't know, water would puddle when it leaks from a tree. It just stays there.
Okay. And then, I'll just keep looking around, look back at the puddle, look around, look back at the puddle. And that's how I'll stay, just.
Oh, buddy.
That's all I'll do.
The rest of your watch passes uneventfully, with the exception of you hyperventilating.
Frozen in anxiety. That's
Frozen in anxiety, yeah. But the dawn does come. You all do get a long rest if you needed one. I don't know if you did. But you wake to the sun in the sky once more and the roaring river still right to your side. And now that the sun has come up, you do indeed see that this tree spans the whole width of the river here, with the light to guide you.
I guess this means this is the 8th day, correct?
Yep. Yeah, right? Because we took 2 long rests and then 2, or was it a day? A day and a half?
No, Cam has been dead for 2 days at this point. You have 8 days left.
Yeah.
I have a day tracker here.
Packing up camp.
Yeah.
I assume we get to it super eager to push forward.
All right. So you're all going to attempt to cross this natural bridge that has been created by this tree that has been felled. Thankfully, a lot of the branches have kind of eroded over the years, but the branches have eroded. This has been here for quite some time. It's a big tree, but it doesn't look like two of you will be able to pass at the same time. So
How far across is it?
long. Well, it's a little bit small, a little bit narrower. I was about to say less wide, a little bit narrower from where you first encountered this river at its widest point, almost close to the delta. But not by much. This river is huge. It's
Okay.
huge.
Who wants to go first?
Do we do a buddy system? Like tie yourself off to someone else just in case?
I feel like if we did that, it's kind of a waste for anyone.
Well,
who's
it's the
Basil.
fifth person, right?
What?
5 people. Am I
What
counting?
was that? What was that, Days?
There's 5? I will go alone. I do not trust him. And I look at Cyrus.
Well, I say, there's no need to go alone. You can just come with Basil and I. We could use the extra
But they
weight.
said only 2.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
No, you can't go 2 by 2. You could go in a line 1 by 1 by 1 by 1, but it's not big enough to fit 2 by 2.
I see.
Okay.
Sorry, that was
Yeah.
my bad.
I'll say Sir Basil decides to lead the way and he jumps on the tree and starts making his way across. But who follows after me?
All right, hold on a second, Basil. I don't know where I put this in my notes. Give me a sec. You need to roll something. Why can't I find it? Oh no. Oh, here we go. Okay. So you are going to need to go ahead and make an athletics check for me.
Okay.
On the other side, is there trees?
Yes, it's more of the same kind of like mangrove, bunches of trees here and there, swamp-esque.
Hold up a second there, little guy.
Okay.
Mr. Basil. Can I tie off the rope to an arrow and shoot it across at one of the trees?
Yeah.
And then just
That's
tie the other end on our side so there's something to hold on to?
What's the long range in your bow?
Oh, it's like 200.
Oh, okay.
I also have extra rope.
At-
if you need
at-
it.
Normal, it's 150. Long distance is 600.
Okay, yeah, you're good. You might need a couple things of rope here, but
It's only 50 feet, I think, is rope.
I give him the
Yeah.
rope that I picked up from the pack,
Yeah.
and then I also have my own rope.
I guess,
So-
yeah, it wouldn't really work then if we only have 50 feet.
you have more than 50 feet, but you might need to combine a couple
Yeah.
things of rope. It's a great idea though.
We have 150.
Yeah, okay. As long as you're fine leaving behind your rope.
Yeah. So I hand Apoc the 2 rounds of rope that I had.
Mhm,
Let's do it.
great. Just to see if it hits a tree, go ahead and make an attack roll for me.
That's a 2. Plus,
Seriously?
plus 6, so it's an 8.
Really?
Yeah.
I gave it a 10 to pass. Oh no.
You're wishing for that inspiration that you gave away.
Yeah.
Goodbye, rope.
So I mean, you get pretty close. It doesn't stick into a tree
Yeah.
where you wanted it to, but I'll say it's you're able to get it into like right where the trunk of the tree meets the ground is where your arrow sticks
Yeah.
in. So it might not be, super useful, but it might not be useful.
Yeah. It's like
The rope does span the whole distance though, so you do have it if you need it.
it's last resort.
Great idea though, I love it.
Yeah. Sometimes that's 2 20s and then a 2. So it's got to balance out.
Gotta balance out. All right, so the rope is there should you need it. We'll deal with that when it happens. But Basil, you said you're the first one going across, right?
Yeah.
All right, athletics.
So if I'm using the rope as like a guide,
You can't because the rope didn't attach to anything.
but no, the rope did attach to something.
It's on the ground.
The rope did attach, but it's on the ground. So I'm not going to give any type of advantage for that.
Okay.
Is it
If you
impaled
fall,
on the ground?
pardon?
Is it impaled in the ground, or is it just like kind of like a sliding arrow just on the ground?
No, it's stuck into the tree that Apoc was aiming for, but at like the base of the tree, right where the tree meets the ground.
Okay.
Good news, we don't have to tie it off on this side, so we can get it when we get to the other side.
So I rolled athletics 18.
Okay, yeah, you're good. You're able to kind of creak your way along. You're quite light and lithe, and you're able to make it to the other side, no problem. He's gonna take it on next.
Is the river loud because it's roaring still, or can Basil hear us from the other side?
The river is loud.
It's loud, eh? Okay. Can he still hear us or no?
Like if you're yelling type thing?
Yeah.
If you're trying to yell across to him, Basil, what's your passive perception?
Passive perception?
Because it's loud. This is a huge river that's just roaring underneath you.
My passive perception is 10.
Yeah, he wouldn't be able to hear you.
Can I gesture out to him to take the arrow and like wrap it around the tree?
Can I reach where the arrow like landed?
Yep.
Or
Yes.
like,
That,
you know,
and I assume I find somewhere where I can like loop it around and tie up a proper knot, so it's like a proper rail.
Okay, so that should provide a little more support if you're going to tie it off on your end as well.
Yeah.
Let me read one thing here.
You said the river was about 150 feet though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's huge.
So we wrapping it
Yeah.
around out
Yeah.
would
That's
be
true,
still
like-
enough.
What would we bring around?
Yeah, you have like, so the rope that's going across right now, you have 150 feet of rope. I would say you probably have about, 25, 30 feet to play with on each, or total.
Okay.
It's like 15 feet on each side. It's a little bit smaller than it was.
Yeah.
A little bit narrower.
So I assume I find something to tie it off to, so that it ends up creating a proper rail.
Yeah. And are you going to tie it off on your end?
Mhm.
Great.
Yeah, we see it get taught.
Yeah, you can absolutely tie it off, and that'll definitely help the next person who's going to go across, whoever that is.
Miss Quillam goes.
All right, Mrs. Q, go
So-
ahead and make an athletics check with advantage.
So Basil kind of stands on the other end, kind of ready just in case this code slips.
Nat 20.
Ooh, that is so good. You had
Yeah,
advantage.
I rolled a 20 and a 1.
Oh, really?
So
Oh,
good.
no.
You had advantage there. Oh my gosh.
Whew.
Wow, great. Yeah, Mrs. Quillam does a little dance across.
So is everybody across now?
No, there's still Dace, Apoc, and you, Cyrus.
Alright.
All right, you blokes, get across. Get across there, you blokes.
I guess I'll go next.
All right, athletics with advantage.
Uh, 23.
Yeah, no problem. You make it across super easy.
Why don't you want to go?
Oh, it'd be fine. You go first.
You sure?
Yeah, go ahead, Sean.
Alright. I'm gonna pull out some manacles and just slap them on my wrist, slap them on the rope just as a secure.
Oh, yes, okay.
You
That's
thought I was gonna do it to him?
yes.
No, I'm not that mean.
Get wrecked.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of like tethering myself to the ropes. It's tied off on both sides, just as a safety.
Yeah, great.
It's albeit a really bad safety, but it's more than nothing.
Yeah, no, all
Uh,
with advantage.
oh, What'd you say? It's what check is it?
Athletics.
Okay, it's a 14.
Yes, you're able to make it across with a little bit of added safety in the rope. That rope was a great idea.
Perfect. And then I'll unshackle myself from the rope.
I jump in the water and swim across.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Yeah, as you guys are watching Cyrus go, you see the water almost like, I don't know, what is it doing? What are you attempting to do? Just like make it work around you?
As I jump in the water, you see the water just kind of stop. And as I swim, it's like the water freezes to give it a nice little comfortable swim across.
Perfect.
As assuming you make it across,
Assuming.
I should.
Yeah, he makes it across.
I turn and say, "Did you happen to untie the rope?"
I go back and untie the rope.
Great.
Sweet. Now we have all of our rope back. Thank
Entirely.
you.
All right, yeah. You've all made it across the bridge. Thumbs up.
Oh man.
It is 9:30. Are you guys okay to go for another half hour or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Are you good?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good to go. But now since you've made it across the bridge and are still traversing the swamp, you know that river was more or less the halfway point. I do need someone to give me an adventure roll. D20.
Eric.
10. Right down the middle.
Yeah.
All right. So as you're walking along, it's a little bit of a cloudy day, some fog rolling in from the Talongrip coast today. Not as nice as when you initially left Susan's hut yesterday. But as you're walking along, you start to notice that the ground underneath your feet is becoming less sopping wet and starting to get more of a solid feel of dirt instead of swamp. And about, halfway during your travels today, you come to a clearing. This beautiful little clearing in the middle of this swamp. There's tall grasses that kind of just flow gently back and forth, even though there is no wind to move it today. And as you kind of look around, you notice that there are like herbs, thyme and rosemary and anything you can recognize as part of your cooking kind of growing in this little garden. And Apoc, you notice some of those buds that you had recognized from your watch last night, closed, but sitting on the trunk of some trees.
Oh.
It's just this beautiful little clearing.
Can I grab a couple of the buds?
Sure.
Yeah.
You go ahead to kind of grab some of the buds and clip them, kind of tuck them away.
I don't tuck them away. I go over to Miss Q and I hand them out to her. Sorry I got mad at you when we lost Cam. But these will bloom at night and they're awful pretty.
I go harvesting some stuff,
Herbs.
specifically the herbs. And as you see sort of Miss Quillam like get out like her little like frilly pink herb bag, and as she like bumbles along picking herbs, coming to herself, you see like flowers in the meadow just like bloom as she walks by.
Oh.
Can you say again what herbs there were growing in this area?
Like literally pick your favorite herbs and that they're there.
Would you say there's basil?
Yes.
Did you say there's rosemary?
Yes.
Time? Do we have time?
Yes.
Yeah. Oregano?
Parsley and sage.
Yes, like literally any herb that you could imagine is in this little clearing.
So what do you pick?
What do I pick?
I'm gonna play into this. What do you
Okay.
pick?
I mean, definitely parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Because this is the Scarborough Fair, after all.
Okay. Yes,
Um,
nice. When you pick the time, Sir Basil being close to you, he kind of like helps you, and he mentions to you like, time, and you see he's like being reflective, and he says, um, "That was the name of my sister." You know, and then he kind of like thinks off and says, "Wow, it's been a long time since I've thought of her," and hands you the time.
this is sweet.
Dace is rolling.
Do I see any of the flowers that Apoc gives me? I see them like dotted around the meadow. Do I see any of them that have gone to seed?
So what you have in your hands right now is like a pod.
Like a seed?
It's closed. It's not an open flower. It's closed. There could be seeds in there. They're not familiar to you. They're not familiar to you. They're odd.
Okay.
The only reason why they are familiar to you is last night and some resemblance to some flowers in a meadow you once saw once upon a dream.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, you can shove your bags full of herbs to your heart's content. Whoever wants some.
I load up as much as I can.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Good thing you got an extra bag for salt.
I was gonna say we just stock up on all these like cooking herbs that we won't have any room.
All right, but once your pockets are full, you're able to continue on the path towards Marshview. And by the late afternoon, you are not delayed by anything happening in the swamp other than a stop to pick herbs. And Apoc, your hometown comes into view. From the looks of it, you're approaching almost from the north. That little detour at the river took some time off your days.
Hello?
Can't believe we're back here.
Dennis, can you hear us?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
1 second.
Dramatic pause.
Yeah.
He's getting a phone call.
Always getting a phone call.
Maybe.
No, yeah. There was someone just trying to call me, but it was linked up to my Mac.
Oh, okay.
Okay. As long as you can hear me, then we're good.
Very good, very good.
Yeah. How far away from us are like the orchards where you grew up?
You're to the north, right?
Yeah.
So kind of from your viewpoint right now, you're almost like above Marshview. That's in this little valley, which is why orchards did so well in Marshview. From where you are, you're super close. Like it's just at the bottom of the hill, maybe another hour and a half walk.
Yeah.
You can just see the tips of the trees in the orchard that you grew up.
I mean, if we need a place to stay, I grew up around here. Maybe not now, but on the way back.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. We'll stock up on some apples. They have the best ones.
Of course.
You know, Cam would want them.
Well, let's make sure that we can get this salt. And then maybe we'll
Is this person supposed to be in Marshview?
So what Susan remembered was this person was just to the south of it, just on the outskirts of town.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Marshview.
And that's where Apoc and Cam's hometown is, right? Marshville?
Yep, Marshview is Apoc's home and Cam's home too, I believe.
Do you know this guy's name?
yes. And we are looking for Cirillo.
Should we go into Marshview, like go into town and ask if anyone can point us in the right direction to Cirillo?
Let's do it.
I'm assuming I've never heard of Cirillo before.
You would have heard of more just like an enchanter on the outskirts of town.
Gotcha.
Whether that's the same guy or not, you haven't really heard his name before.
Cool.
Let's do it. Let's head into town.
Head into town.
All right, I didn't pre-read this. Give me a second.
Oh,
We just
okay, you
did
only have to stall for 20 minutes.
We
I
just
know,
did
give me a
some-
second.
As we walk into town, I turn to Apoc and say, "What do you remember of this place? Didn't you grow up here?"
Well, I mean, we spent most of the time out back with family. We only came in to hit the markets and trade. Actually didn't spend too much time here, but you know, we've seen the herbs, you've seen the growth that we have around. It's a beautiful city. There's all of these blooming flowers coming down from the sides of the trees, and you know, Marshview took out a bit of it just to establish, but still surrounded. Hope that helps.
And as you start to even walk into Marshview, the few remaining trees that you actually pass, you start to see some scratches in them. Maybe some bee logs every now and again.
Crude drawings, like early ones of just like a stick and a net in the end of it, and you see like this little crude loops coming out the other side, almost like 4 circles that are just barely joined in the middle. And I think it's like a buck net or something.
Can we find B-log number 1, like the original?
You want to see the B-log?
Yeah.
Do we have time? No, I mean we gotta focus on Cam, right? Maybe if we get the salt.
Yeah.
I'll take you around to the B-log.
True.
Love it. All right, so you make your way into Marshview. And the first thing that you note is that it very strongly resembles the perch, the smaller perch of Winnowing Reach, where there's a good majority of buildings or homes or businesses that are actually built into the boughs of the trees, the mangrove trees growing in this area. But what you do notice is that it's also very humble folk friendly. There are kind of like swing bridges and ladders that connect the businesses and the homes from one to another in the perch itself. So someone doesn't have to walk down to the ground, walk to the next tree and climb back up to reach a neighboring business. And there are also quite a few homes and businesses on the ground level itself, which is not as common in Humblewood, as most of the perches themselves really tailor to the bird folk in the area. But this being more of a communal farming community, really tries to be as accessible as possible to the humble folk around here. And as you walk in Apoc, you start to really recognize a lot of the businesses that were here, although it looks like some of them might be a little bit older. Some of them might have a fresh coat of paint and look a little bit younger. There is an apothecary. You recognize the bakery, the main tavern in the inn. You recognize, the place that your parents always put their apple cart when they came in to sell. And you even recognize some of the homes up in the perches of old friends or family acquaintances as you kind of walk into your hometown. Where would you guys like to go? It is about mid-afternoon-ish now. So some of the, there are quite a few people who are shopping around, looking for things for dinner. But it doesn't seem to be as hustly and bustly as Winnowing Reach was around this time when all of the researchers came back, for example.
I would probably stick close to Dace and the group. Seeing a more denser population of people I don't know you kind of get a sense that Cyrus is trembling a little bit and a little nervous.
Being around crowds, maybe.
Why are you nervous, bro?
Brings back a lot of bad memories.
Shady. Sus.
Hearing today's Sir Basil just kind of like goes over and rests his like paw, I guess somewhere on his robe, and just says, "Oh, don't mind him. You're completely safe of us."
As
Thank you,
we're
Basil.
walking. Sorry, what was that?
Thank you, Basil.
Oh. As we're walking into maybe like the town square area where like things are happening, do I happen to see like a tavern or a little like, I don't know, somewhere where it looks like is like a place where people will hang out, perhaps with a patio if it's a nice day.
Love it. Yeah, you see two things that catch your mind. You see kind of the main tavern inn called the like the Cheery Candle. That I'll have to write down in my notebook later. And you also see, actually this is a little bit new for you. It looks like there's like a grand opening sign kind of hanging in the window almost. And it's a little cafe type area. It's just got a little drawing in the window that almost looks like it was drawn out of chalk on glass. So like not super good, but like just enough to get the point across. And it's got a little like mug with a smiley face that's been drawn into it.
Oh, I don't get that's cute. Nope.
She's drawing a mug with a smiley face.
Oh, adorable.
I did the same thing.
The garbage stuff is probably what it would look like on the.
Like it's not very good, but like it, I don't know. It's kind of cool. Yep, that's the one.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Adorable, you guys.
I turn to the gang and I say, how about everybody take a seat at this lovely little cafe, and I will go in and see if I can get something delicious for breakfast. Is it breakfast time? No, it's afternoon. For afternoon tea, and I'll see if we can find out where this Cirillo is. And I grab Dace by the arm and I say, hey, why don't you come with me? Because I saw the tension earlier and I did not want any of that.
You grab Dace by the arm?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
You had me at food.
All right, so Basil, Cyrus, and Apoc. Hey, it's ABC. You I just realized that. You take a seat on the patio, maybe. I don't want to tell you what to do. As Mrs. Q and Dace go inside, and this place is busy. Like you have to wait in line, kind of busy, and it like goes back and snakes around.
Wow.
It's the grand opening. You get the sense it's the grand opening from the giant ribbon that was in their window above their cup, their happy face cup. But it's actually moving pretty quick. And Mrs. Q, you smelled just like beautiful smell of like chamomile and hibiscus and all the teas you can think of. There's some like fresh baked cookies kind of smell too. And you can basically get whatever kind of tea and cookie that your heart desires when you do make it up to the counter.
Perfect.
Sure does.
Okay, we waddle up. Well, I waddle, and Dace walks up to the counter.
There's this like very young Mapache, very young, this like teenage Mapache with like a little linkers, a little like barista bun in his fur. And he's just wearing like a green apron.
Hi.
Hi.
Is there a display going on, or is there?
Yes.
Okay.
You notice
Okay.
that there are some tins that are empty, but seem to be doing okay.
We'll take one of every single cookie, and then for the rest of the gang,
I chuckle and I nod and say, we'll just get whatever he wants. And so I affirm that we can have every single cookie. Or every single type of cookie, not every cookie.
You just hear a shout from outside. Don't forget the coffee.
And I order a decaf, but I won't tell him. I look at Dace and I say, what do you think Cyrus would want to drink?
I can't think of a joke.
He wants quackers.
Damn.
I'm not a duck. Real low.
You described your beak as a duck. I'm sorry.
Yep, duck.
Pulls his hood lower. Oh.
Duck-billed platypus. Come on.
I don't know.
While Dace is still thinking, I say, we'll have a chai for the platypus friend out there. I'll take a chamomile, and my friend here will take anything with a little bit of valerian root in it.
Chamomile.
You see the Apoc just like typing super fast on what you now see is this kind of, we know it's a cash register, but it's not like a money bag that you've seen before from vendors. It's actually like got gears twirling, and it types a little receipt for you. And the Apoc kind of types it up, rips off the page, and hands it to his friend, who starts preparing everything with like top-notch speed. And he kind of looks at you and he's like, all right, so for the whole thing, that'll be about 1 gold.
That's it? I'll just give her 1 gold.
Thank you. Puts it in the little machine and like clicks the door closed. And your drinks are ready for you as you go to turn away, and all the cookies that you can possibly imagine to go and rejoin the boys outside.
Excellent.
Did you guys
Just
want to?
Scoop all the cookies.
As Dace collects all the cookies, I turn back to my patch and ask, so we're looking for somebody in town. Have you heard of Cirillo?
The Mapache kind of just like was talking to another customer from behind you, and kind of turns to you and drums his fingers on the desk a little bit, and just kind of waves like, yeah, he's some guy to the south, I think, older guy, Vulpin. I don't know, he's kind of a pack rat. And then turns away from you to service the next customer.
All right. I turn to Dace and say, I think I've learned all we're going to learn from this barista.
You,
Don't even know what's going on, just eating the cookie.
you've hit the end of the chat box.
Yeah. Hey man, it's a lineup. He's not concerned about talking about some old enchanter.
Yeah.
I guess we'll head out, unless Dace wants to do something else in there. We'll head back out to the gang and relay the information and pass out the drinks.
The 3 cookies now.
Ooh, thanks, guys.
What's in this? What's in this?
Oh no, you bailed on it.
Are you asking about the cookie or the tea?
This tea.
It's chai.
There isn't any caffeine in this chai, is there?
I think there is caffeine in chai, actually.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Oh, no. He keeps finishing, sitting on the tea, but he looks very, very panicked.
Oh dear.
All right, continue.
What's the plan, guys?
Are there people like seated around us?
Oh yeah, it's a full patio.
Is anybody wearing masks?
No, they don't have to worry about a pandemic.
That's good.
Lucky.
While cleaning his pipe, or this pipe, Sir Basil kind of turns to the nearest table and says, "Hello there."
You just see a bunch of like this this gaggle of critters at the table next to you. There's like a young teenage Luma that looks like a dove with like pale peachy feathers and little like rosy gray cheeks. Not rosy, gray cheeks. You see another like young female Gallus. Like this is a girls' night or girls' afternoon coffee kind of table that you just turned to.
Oh no. Okay.
Can I help you?
Hi there. We're new in town and we're hoping to look for someone. Maybe you can help me out. We're looking for a man named or someone named Cirillo. Have you heard of him?
You're definitely new in town for sure. Nobody really asks about Cirillo. He's, I don't know, this guy who lives on the outskirts of town. Sometimes on like Hallows Eve, some of the boys in town dare each other to go up and touch the door of his hut, but I haven't seen it myself.
Cam just looks over at Dace. He's like, oh yeah, we used to do that.
Cam looks like-
Oh, Apoc looks over at Dace. Fucking been saying Cam all night.
Basil continues and asks, like, any chance you might be able to point us in the right direction to find him?
Apoc knows where it is.
Apoc doesn't remember where it is.
Oh, okay. So, I thought you were just okay.
Been way too long.
You see this Luma kind of turn to her friends and be like, this guy is asking about Cirillo's hut. Do you know where it is? I don't know which way it is. And like all of her friends are just kind of like, no, except for one Strig who looks like way too young to be out here, like a younger sister kind of with her older sister in the friend group. And just like, it's to the south. Like if you follow that road and just go straight. I touched his door once, but nobody believed me. I even knocked.
Sir Basil says, oh wow, that's very brave of you. I definitely believe you. And he kind of like says like, thank you, fair maiden, and kind of like
Fair maiden.
says goodbye and turns back to the group and relays the information of that path.
You absolutely hear all the girls at the table like laugh and giggle like under their breath as you turn around and walk away.
How do swans laugh? Is it like
Yes. Yes, that is not canon.
Well done.
Hey, Sir Basil. Sir Basil's probably his character used to people, one, undermining him because of his size, and two, it's the honorable thing. So he's like,
Hey, we're not hip with this generation.
a millennial.
That's exactly it. Maybe Apoc.
I'm 18?
Yeah, no, they're younger than that.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
it's like you now have a direction to Cirillo's hut.
You're like, all right, well, I guess we can finish up here and head out. And I'll slide. I'll be like, hey, Cyrus, here, finish up this decaf coffee.
Too late. Oh God, the migraine. The caffeine gives me headaches.
All right.
So he just
Before
wonders.
we leave, before we begin to leave, Sir Basil kind of like goes back to the group of
Teenagers.
teenagers and says, "Farewell, ladies," and then walks away.
They just like giggle some more and be like, "Did you see what he was wearing? It looks like he spent 2 days in the swamp."
And I hate kids like this.
Basil
But
just-
but
They're everywhere.
Like, mind your own business.
Sir Basil just keeps walking. Doesn't faze him.
All right, as you all start to make your way south out of Marshview to go and visit Cirillo, it is 10 o'clock, so we'll stop there
Ooh.
for tonight and pick up in 2 weeks.
Dun, dun, dun.
And maybe if you're lucky, you'll get to see Apoc's Orlog 1.
We're like, what?
yes,
Love it. Love it. This has been a great session, guys.
yeah, this is good.
It's like a whole little side quest.
Mhm.
Can I say too, like you flawlessly brought in Cyrus. Like
That was very well
I was like,
done.
whoa.
Andrea kicked
Like he
ass.
was there all along.
That wasn't me, that was Eric.
But yeah, thank you so much,
That was
Andrea.
super fun. Yeah, of course. That was super fun. Cyrus is super cute.
He is really cute.
I love
Yeah.